Epic Dumpster Bear 1.5 DX Dumpster Fire Rebirth. Oh my goodness, could that title be any longer? This is not the first time that I reviewed one of these games in the Epic Dumpster Bear series. Back in the Wii U days, I reviewed the first one, and while I found the levels dragged on a bit, it was better than I expected. So much so, I put it at number 9 on my top 10 best list of 2016. But to be fair though, being a good Wii U game wasn't really a high hurdle to get over, as there really wasn't much to choose from. First off, I want to say this was sent to me by the publisher, and like always, I want to disclose that. The creator decided to take both of these games and remake and remix them into this. It adds in the control improvements in the second game, like being able to double jump without needing to eat a fish, so you no longer have to fart your way to a double jump. The controls are not very tight. They are a bit loose, but that could be to your advantage at times. Because of this, you can scale walls by holding the wall and double jumping, then doing it again if you have enough skill. I could occasionally do it, but I could see skilled speedrunners using the controls to their advantage. Now, the story behind this game is absurd. It feels like when they came up with a story for each world, they just threw a dart at a board and said, this is the setup, and this is the villain. Nothing makes a lick of sense. And normally I love ripping apart stories that have illogical threads, but I don't even know where to start. It knows its story is stupid and runs with it. Basically, it's about Dumpster Bear after he stopped the villains in the second game. He gets thrown back in time to the beginning of the first game, and now he needs to save his past self, his family, and stop the bad guys who also came back in time to stop him from stopping them. It's very hard to explain. Just look at some of the cutscenes explaining the plot, and that's what you're dealing with. Ludicrous setups that you just need to roll with. The levels were set up on a map screen for each of the world. I do wish the map screen was better than just some generic boxes, but I guess they needed to put all their creativity into the levels themselves. It's clear from the level designs and the map screen itself that this is highly inspired by the Donkey Kong Country series. The levels themselves were interesting, but they did tend to drag on. Whenever you see a dumpster, you know you're at least halfway through it, and it acts as a checkpoint. But I wish the levels were tighter. Occasionally they would come up with interesting ideas, but then they would just drag out the level, and if you die, you go back to the start or to the checkpoint. There are unlimited tries, but it was a bit frustrating to have to do the level again because of some twitchy controls or an unlucky fall. Just like the previous games, each level ends with your character taking a faceplant into a target, with some off-screen people either enjoying it or booing you. There are occasionally secret exits to the levels, and if you find them, you get to play locked off levels. There are 3 red coins in each level if you want to challenge yourself to find them all. In the later levels, it's going to take a lot of skill and exploration if you want to collect them all. The boss fights were simple yet entertaining. Oddly, each world has 2 boss fights to it, right next to each other. Why not put one in the middle like as a mid-world boss? Why are they back to back? Sometimes the first boss fight would be harder than the boss of the world. It's always about finding the pattern and exploiting it. They give you the option to give yourself another heart for 25 coins, and if you die, the heart goes away, and you're going to need to buy it again. Also, there were bonus levels, which were straight out of Sonic the Hedgehog bonus levels, where you have to collect a certain number of blueberries in a time limit, and they were okay. When you beat the game, it unlocks the first game for you to play, so it gives you a goal to get to the end of this game. Epic Dumpster Bear 1.5 DX Dumpster Fire Rebirth was better than the first game, mainly because of the control additions. It made it easier to play the levels in a different way due to your skill. Graphically, it looks strange, as the realistic animals were always oddly placed in situations. The best thing about this, though, is that it's only $4.99 normally, and that's a completely fair price for this. It has 7 worlds to play, and each of the worlds have a different feel to them. While I do think the levels were a bit dragged out, the insane story and platforming will keep your attention until the end, so I do think it's worth a buy.